My father is a judge in Las Vegas, and my family has abused me for 3 decades. In a week, I'm gonna turn 30, and I've been staring down the barrel of that number for a long time, and it's been really hard to understand how that much time has passed and how I'm even turning 30, let alone how I made it to 30. Because my brother didn't get to live to see 25. And I was too young to stand up for him even more then, but I'm his older sister now. And so I've been dying to tell our story and set the record straight my entire life. And I've been thinking about it nonstop the last few years and how I'm going to do this. But so many things kept coming up. I kept getting really ill. I kept getting stalked. There were a lot of disruptions. This is like attempt 5003 of recording this. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And, neighbors having parties. I trying to record the clips on apps and all of the clips getting deleted somehow. And that just broke me. I literally just needed to cry for days because this is the most emotional, most terrifying, intense, scariest, most daunting thing I've ever had to do in my life and probably ever will have to do in my entire life. And digging up all of these emotions, going through it and reading it out as I'm about to is a lot for me. It's really an overload. So when all of that got deleted, I just sobbed for days. My eyes were so swollen and in so much pain. I had blood shot them really bad. I had to ice them, and when you wipe them away and you scratch your eye so much that that gets sore. Yeah, so I had to pause because this is just a lot. This is a lot for anyone to do, let alone someone in my position. So I'm terrified. So I apologize in advance if I cry or if I don't. Please don't take it as me being inauthentic if I don't sob my way through this. What's new and maybe shocking information to anyone who thankfully watches this is everyday life for me. It happened for 30 years, and it still makes me crazy emotional, but I can't keep doing that to myself and sinking into the emotions of it and everything. So I'm sorry if it comes across as inauthentic, but I'm extremely exhausted and in pain right now. My brain's scattered and fried. Too much has happened to do this off the top of my head. I had it at over 50 pages of stuff that I wanted to say about all of this, and I had to narrow it down a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading from my outline for so many reasons. I've just thought this to death already and written so much about it, so I'm just gonna read what I've written because there's a lot to cover and I need to do it quickly and just get it out before I can overthink even more what a risk I'm taking and just exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, I just need to get it out so that you can know if you're the kind of person who can help me with some of this, or if you're just curious about the drama, that's totally fine too. I need the algorithm to give a shit enough about this that it finds the right people. So, yeah, this will just be as quick of a preview as I can do that needs a lot more context. So that the people that I need to find me can see this and know if there's something that they can be the help that I desperately need, before they dive into probably follow-up videos with longer explanations of the stuff going on. So, you can tell I'm nervous and shaking. Sorry. I've cried through making this video so many times, so sorry if me a little bit dissociating through it seems like I don't care. Like, I've already sobbed my entire soul out a million times over everything that has happened, and if I'm gonna get it through this, I need to not. So yeah, yeah, because coming out against these really powerful people is beyond scary. My father's already threatened me with the police and sent them to my house when there was absolutely no reason for that. He had a million other options he could have taken, but he very intentionally wanted to show his power and his show of force, and that he can send his minions to do things, you know? So I'm not safe here, and I never will be. Not to mention I absolutely fucking hate it. But I've got to do this all gas, no brakes before I start overthinking everything I'm saying, because this is without a doubt the scariest, most vulnerable thing I've ever had to do. And just putting my entire life and all of my trauma and all of the secrets that I have been very forced to keep over 30 years, putting all of that out into the world, it's a lot. You can tell I can't really breathe. Yeah, it's a lot, and I don't know how I'm gonna do all this or what's gonna happen, but please, if you think you can help, please keep watching. So yeah, all gas, no brakes, because I have to get this out, and I can't just sink into my feelings about it. So here are some really quick highlights of the story so that you know what you're getting into. So again, well, before I say this, sorry if I repeat anything. Like I said, I condensed this by a ton, so I might repeat stuff in the longer videos. I might repeat stuff because I've thought about this a million times, and yeah, just please forgive me. This is very unprecedented, and yeah, I'm scared. So yeah, so here's some really quick highlights of the story so that you know what you're getting into. So please stay tuned, because I desperately need help, and that's really painfully hard for me to ask from someone in my position, someone who's been conditioned by abuse the way that I have, someone with a lot of eldest daughter trauma and all of that. So yeah, I desperately need help, and I need people to listen to the full story so that they really understand the gravity of the situation and what a risk I'm taking. But also, if I'm honest, it's a really juicy story. Pain and agony for decades for me, but if you're just watching, probably a lot of good stuff. Ooh, I'm dizzy. So here's some things you're gonna wanna hear about. Highlights of my life story coming up include the judge who finally sent O.J. Simpson to prison, who's married to our district attorney, my friendship with billionaires, gold diggers, corruption, judges and court employees breaking the law, obviously a judge who abuses his daughter, people from the college admissions scandal, homicide detectives, the FBI, the DEA, every branch of government, drug addicts, political intrigue, and yes, all of it is real. That is my life. It's not even clickbait. The stories get better. So if you're only here for the drama, then whatever, that's fine. Please help the algorithm care about this, because I don't have a lot of time, and I'm all out of gas. I have nothing else left in me. I can't tell you how much effort it took to shower and try and get ready all the times that I tried to, and yeah, I'm empty. So like I said, all gas, no brakes. So I'm finally telling my story because I am truly completely burnt out and spent. I have nothing else in me and very much almost nothing else to lose. I've lost my little siblings, my beloved soul dog, my health care. The health issues have also completely destroyed my appearance, and I know you don't know me, but please just take my word for it, because I haven't been able to even look in the mirror for years. So again, this is really hard for me. It's robbed me, the abuse has robbed me of my entire fucking future and potential careers and everything I've ever owned and treasured, all of my most precious things, including my brother's ashes, the gifts he gave me, and his last possessions. Not to mention a full 30 years of my life and whatever I lose on the back end because of all of the chronic illness and trauma and what that does to the body, because it's a lot. My parents also have my birth certificate, my social security card, my vaccination records, just everything I could need. They even held on to my license for over a year just as a fucking abuse tactic to try and force me to talk to them and force me to see them. Trying to get it back was a complicated process where they tried to force me to see them, manipulate me again. Yeah, I've lost my whole entire life trying to finally escape and be free. All of it. The last few years have been constant, immeasurable grief. I've been forced to grieve everything I've ever known and everyone I've ever loved, and even my own self and my own body and health. I cut off my entire extended family as well because they are all entirely complicit in this and are his flying monkeys, if you know anything about narcissists. If they didn't just outright witness the abuse and turn a blind eye. I even had to go no contact with my little siblings because I knew my mom would use them to manipulate me like she tried to do with me and my brother. And she tried hard. And I couldn't add that pain to everything I was already trying to recover from. And it's very much not their responsibility to deal with all of this trauma and decades of stuff that they didn't witness and isn't, their responsibility. And they're so young, and yeah, so there was never a good time or a good reason to explain the horrors of mine and my brother's life to like a 10 and a 12-year-old, and it's just, I worked very hard and sacrificed a lot to shield them for as many years as I could, so please don't think I'm evil for having to do that incredibly painful but necessary thing. I had no idea it would go on for so long and that the web my parents wove would be so complicated even though I had technically moved out. So in order to tell my story, I need to first tell you who my parents are and who they know, so you understand the full gravity of the situation and the massive risks that I'm taking doing this. I'll also get into later about how my parents both had me for money. One for child support and one for connections and to advance their careers. which aside from their reputations are the only things that they care about. But I feel like before I even get into who they are and who they know, I should tell you right out of the gate that they were 40 and 23 when they had me and were together. So I feel like that should give you a solid clue of like who they are, you know? I'll get into it more later, but like clearly not the kind of people who should be having kids. Clearly not, but what a Vegas couple, you know? What a Vegas couple. So, like when I talk about the having me to have connections, I went to school with, as I said, billionaires and kids involved with the college admissions scandal. So like the connections and money that I afforded my parents it's a lot. So we'll get into it later, I guess. Sorry. I've already taken a lot of time even just trying to do this intro, so all gas, no brakes. So yes, my father is a judge and has been for a long while, but my mother has worked in the court system for nearly 35 years, directly with judges and many lawyers, as well as many years working directly for the judge, who is the wife of the district attorney, whose barbecues we used to go to and whose daughters went to my school, and one of whom actually tutored me. So, yeah. That judge also ended up getting her own TV show because they wanted to make her the new, like, Judge Judy. Because like I said, that judge married to the DA is the one who finally sent O.J. Simpson to prison, and my mother is actually the woman who read out the verdict that sent O.J. Simpson to prison. So, you get what I'm saying? You kind of get where we're going. Oh, and the mayor ran one of my schools. So she is married to the previous mayor, and so we're all friendly as well because it's all the same political circles and fancy schools and everything. So that's all just the tip of the iceberg. Both my parents are textbook narcissists and narcissistic abusers. My stepdad is also a homicide detective and a former narcotics detective. And my parents know every cop, every lawyer and judge in the entire city, and almost every politician in my state, including state Supreme Court justices that they're good friends with, including senators that I know that they've met at events. And I know for a fact they know the governor even more, even though they don't like him. They met them all. At least met them all, and it's been 5 years since I've gone, something like 5 years since I've gone, since the beginning of the pandemic, since I've gone no contact. So who knows how close they are with even more people by now. So if I were to move a case against them, or especially if they try to sue me for libel or defamation for telling my life story and telling the truth, it would literally be like walking into not just like the lion's den, but like a mythological creature that just, I would be dead immediately. Like a gladiator arena filled with every single person in that building wanting me to go down. And hating my guts, and all being on my parents' side, and no judge is going to somehow, help me or rule in my favor and set the precedent that you can like fuck over another judge and very long time court employee, and therefore like cops and this and that. It's just not, it would never happen. It's the justice system in our state is fully like an old boys club. Like everyone knows each other. They're all friends. They all have the same campaign managers. There's zero way for me to get a fair trial in my city or even my state, because they know people upstate as well, and there's basically only 2 cities in Nevada at all. And it's because my dad does little judge mixer events and like these judge schools that, you know, conferences that they all go to, and they all go drinking and having dinner together. It's incredibly ingratiated. So yeah, he knows people up in Reno. He knows everybody that he could know, he knows. And the state Supreme Court is in Reno. And so I know you don't know all of the details yet, but even just knowing what you do, I think you can understand why I'm saying there is a far less than 0 chance of me ever even remotely getting any kind of fair trial anywhere in the state. I especially can't get a fair trial because even psychologically, I'm on their home turf. I'm at their place of work, which I only went to when I was visiting them as a child, as a teen, as an adult. Like, I went there as the judge's daughter and as my mom's daughter, the like head honchos of this place. Like every single employee is like their friend, and they would all be on their side and like shuffle paperwork around and hush hush, like they all do each other these favors and stuff. And I don't know, maybe they'd fuck something up or leak the paperwork to them so that it goes in their favor. Just any number of things. There's no way around it that I cannot get a fair trial, and they would fuck me over terribly, like they always do. They are incredibly angry, incredibly vindictive, explosive people, and they know every loophole and every backdoor, and the fucking game is rigged, especially against someone like me. And I mentioned a little earlier, my stepdad even used to work with the fucking DEA, and my dad has gone to like these like FBI academies and like a shooting academy and stuff, and probably has done a lot more of that in the last 5 years. So he legitimately has FBI connections and like has done little courses with them and stuff. So I can't stress enough how not safe I am and how rightful I am to be terrified of these people, and what an unbelievable risk it is to publicly come out against them. There's so much more I have to explain about their connections so everyone understands just how big of a risk it is. But please just believe me, like there's no way that I could ever get a fair trial, which is a solid reason that I'm doing this, because I deserve to get mine and my brother's truth out in the world, regardless of what the law thinks. I don't give a fuck. This is my reality. This is what's happened to me. This is my life story, and I deserve to tell it. No holds barred. Because if my parents didn't want me to talk about it, they never should have done it. That's really all it comes down to, is that they never should have done it. And I deserve to talk about my life and what's happened to me. But I'm very keenly aware of what legal risk this puts me in, and the danger to my actual literal life, let alone my finances, and the ways that my parents can legally fuck me over and destroy my life, the ways that they already have. So like clearly, I think I wouldn't put my neck out on the line and like under the guillotine and go against my powerful ass family and all of their powerful ass friends, and truly like the entire justice system in my state, if I wasn't telling the truth, if this wasn't all true. So I really want everyone to understand the gravity of the situation, so you understand like the magnitude of what I'm doing. And it's not just for me, but also for my brother, who can no longer speak. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's why I am so so damn overwhelmed. And if you're wondering if I intended to take on the entire justice system with blue hair, no. I bought overtone because clearly, like, I haven't treated myself or been able to take care of myself enough to keep doing my hair, and thought I was dyeing my hair black. Not so much. So yeah, no, I didn't intend for this. But if you're like, if you're judgmental enough to care about the color of my hair or misjudge my character because of it, then clearly you're not the kind of person that I need to help me and that I want here. So whatever, who cares? It's just hair, and if having blue hair makes you think less of me, then oh well. I'm not a big fan of it either, but like I said, I've already tried to record this video a million times and everything kept going wrong. Today, I burnt the roof of my mouth, so that I'm doing this through that. I added too much mousse and now my hair looks all crunchy and oily at the same time, and I can't wait anymore. Like I said, all gas, no brakes. There is a week until I turn 30 and I need to get this off of my soul before then. I've wanted to my entire life and everything kept stopping me, and I swear everything, the clips getting deleted is crazy. I think the universe just needed to redirect me to doing it at a different time and different app. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like the judge's daughter having blue hair and suddenly going out against the entire justice system, pretty much. There's gonna be a lot of people their age who are gonna think that I am off the deep end, you know, very boomer, awful opinions, awful untrue opinions. So blue hair is not a big deal to me at all, but it is an accident, so whatever. Moving on. So yeah, their connections and the abuse are just, it's a spider web that I can't escape, not on my own. I'm like Frodo, all like wrapped up and trapped and like paralyzed because of everything they've done to me. Like, I can't tell you how much energy I've had to exert to do this, to get ready for this, and to like physically to talk. Like energy and personality feels like it's been like sucked out of my soul just because of the enormity of everything I've had to deal with and endure all on my own. I'm just, Fried doesn't cover it. There's nothing left in my cup. Like, I've been running on fumes for so long. Like all the gears are sparking, you know. There's nothing left. Every string that I tried to like untangle to get out of this, it just like paralyzed me and trapped me further, because I realized like, oh, this is connected to this, and if I don't do this thing, then I can't do this thing, and it's too much for one person to deal with given all of my circumstances. Like, I can't do this all on my own, and I've been trying to, and it's not working because I'm chronically ill. I'm exhausted. This is the first time I've put makeup on in like years, truly. And it's just because I figure if I'm going to mortify myself, putting my entire soul out there, I should at least not fully mortify myself, not even looking like myself anymore. So it's just, this is all too complex for me alone. Like, I just get overwhelmed so unbelievably at each and every task before me, because it's such an unbelievably tangled web. And yeah, it's too complex for me. I've got nothing left. So this is why I'm, so many reasons, but this is why I am just begging the universe to please hear me and help people find me who can help me. Because I someday want to, you know, as I tell my story more and more, I want to help people survive what I did, and I want to do good in the world. But I can't do any of that if I don't ask for help and get help first. I can't help anyone if, you know, no one helps me. So, we're gonna move into all the things I need help with soon. Yeah, there's a lot that I want to do with my life that's been ripped away from me, and all of my hopes and dreams crushed at every stage of my life, and just, I feel like I've been crawling on broken glass, like just bruised and bleeding for so long on my own. And my whole life it was like I was, you know, crawling on the broken glass with no legs, and yet my parents were just standing over me screaming bloody murder at me to walk. Like, why can't you walk? Why can't you walk? Why don't you fucking run? Fucking run, you fucking lazy piece of shit. You fucking loser, you fucking idiot. A lot worse than that, but and it was like, oh no, I was actually chronically ill and disabled and like still doing an incredible job given the circumstances. But yeah, it's just been a lot, and I'm just I'm too fried. I'm way too fried. And yet, like I said, I haven't been able to look at myself really for years because it's just taken a lot for me. So even this is weird, and my hair done is weird, even though it's messed up. But yeah, so anyways, here's the quickest, most condensed version I can give of what's gone on the last few years. Sort of, it's just what I need help with, essentially, but I need a moment to breathe. So, okay, quickest, most condensed version I can give, and oh my god, I've already talked for half an hour, holy shit. So, my father has stalked and harassed me for years since I finally escaped. He has abused his power to send the cops to scare the shit out of me and sow doubt about my sanity, and, you know, threaten me showing off his power and, like, what he can do with his goons. And I'll talk more about the sowing doubts about my sanity later, but he stopped paying my rent when he had promised to for so many years, which, okay, I get it, I cut him off, you know, whatever. But the whole thing is that it was a scheme to sabotage me into being evicted so that I'd be forced to come back to his hellhole. He didn't tell me that he had done that for, as far as I know, for months, and so it was a big surprise getting that on my door. And it almost worked, and yeah, he lied to me. I have evidence of this on my computer, of an email. He lied to me about how evictions work in the state to like scare me into just, you know, cutting and running, because he very mistakenly thinks that I'm actually fucking brain dead. Because what you don't know about my parents is that although they deal with the court system all day long, they also go home and talk about it all night long. Like every family dinner, every family gathering, all they do is talk about work and cases and this and that and the other. And they go home and they go home and they watch things like Cops and, you know, CSI and this, like, as if all of that during the day isn't enough. They really like punishing people, so I would know. Yeah, my dad thinks I'm brain dead trying to lie about that to me because they've at many points discussed evictions in the state because my dad has handled those, and he's to my knowledge, always helped people out in those situations and like stayed the eviction and let them stay there and yada yada yada. So he genuinely thinks I am fucking retarded. I mean that in like the literal sense. Like he thinks that I am so stupid, even though, and I've had it measured, I'm highly intelligent with a high IQ, but this is the narcissist brain, is that even though I know the reality and they've discussed it a million times, he thinks he can try to lie and manipulate me. And like, he manufactured this horrifying moment for me where he was saying like, oh, the sheriff is gonna come and break down your door, da 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 da, but you can always come stay at daddy's house. Like an actual psychopath. Like he thinks he can just completely lie about how that works to terrify me enough into coming back. So, yeah. Like I said, like he's been good on cases with helping people with evictions, but this is how narcissists work. They're really, really nice and great and charismatic in the outside world, and they save all of the psychopath for at home for people who can't escape, which was me, a punching bag for almost 26 years. So, yeah, they just save all of the evil for me. And, yeah, it's not how evictions work. He again abused his like legal knowledge and his position of power to try and intentionally lie to me and do all this fucked up shit and manufacture this emergency situation where I would end up homeless. So there's that. Homeless or having to live with him again. So, because I don't have a cosigner anymore, I've just been paying month to month for the last several years, which is $600 fucking over the already expensive rent in a fucking pandemic with like the highest rates of inflation since the, Great Depression. So, I'm trapped in an expensive ass apartment that I'm overpaying for because I have no paperwork. I have no job. I have no proof of, a cable bill, a water bill, whatever. So I can't fucking go anywhere else. This is my only option. I don't know how the fuck to escape. I'm like, please don't think I'm some like stupid pampered princess, because I suffered literally my entire life and finally got offered this nice, good thing that I deserve. And so I took it. So yeah, this entire story is going to be about like the dichotomy of my life and what I was forced to portray on the outside versus what was really going on. So like, please just reserve your judgment for later. This is mortifying to tell all of these things, because as someone who's about to be 30 in, one breath, it's mortifying to not be in the place in life that I should be, let alone to not know how to do these things. But I was financially abused, mentally, psychologically, all of these things. And physically by intentionally withholding health care, knowing that I am disabled, chronically ill, neurodivergent, and have been very ill. So, I know people aren't good at that, but like, at reserving judgment. So just, you don't know me yet, and there's a lot of nuance and a lot of stuff to explain. So just reserve your judgments for later, I guess. And also to retaliate for going no contact, he also canceled my insurance, my health insurance, knowing again full well that I'm neurodivergent, disabled, and chronically ill, and have been for a really long time, and knowing that I have no means to get a job because of all of this, and also because I never got to graduate college because of the abuse and the neglect and him intentionally depriving me of my brain medication and my health care, including mental health care, which constantly sabotaged my studies. Which brings me to, because I've been sick for so long, I tried for many years to go to the Mayo Clinic, all of which my attempts got sabotaged by my family. Because my dad's a judge, he has special insurance that covers visits there to their really special executive department, which again, I'll talk about later because I'm so keenly aware of how special it is that I would have even remotely been able to access this opportunity. And there's so much that goes into that. And I can't begin to tell you how much I grieved losing that and how fucking hard I worked to try and get those appointments. Yeah, I was very aware of how special it was that I had the opportunity, and so I'm even more vastly aware of how devastating it is that I lost it. But because my family kept opening my mail, including medical mail, which I have proof of, and if lawyers could chime in about what I can do, I'd be extremely grateful, because I couldn't safely go because of all the insurance paperwork with all the billing codes. It tells you everything that you went in for and the reason that you did it. So yeah, it tells all of your health issues, and it's all visible. And I know this because it has gotten me in incredibly serious trouble before with my parents. So I couldn't exactly go to the Mayo Clinic and be like, hey, decades of abuse have destroyed my body. Let's figure out exactly what, because that would reflect on my insurance, and I would probably be bones in the desert by now. So, yeah. So I spent a long time trying to escape so that I could safely go to the Mayo Clinic before my insurance ran out, and be honest with the doctors about all the abuse and what that's done to my body, because otherwise it's a waste. It's a really serious amount of money if I went, because it's not just the Mayo Clinic, it's this special executive ass department at one of the best hospitals in the world, where you get like expedited treatment and tests, and when the thing that my dad gets is an executive physical, which is a weekend-long thing. When I told them all my symptoms, they were like, oh, you're gonna need to be here for over a week. The specialists at the executive department of one of the best hospitals in the world were like, oh, no, you got a lot going on. That's not gonna be just one weekend. And I was like, fair point. So just to understand the gravity of how much healthcare that I lost and can't retrieve again. And yeah, so there's a lot more to explain about that. But when I finally got to the final stages of planning a huge physical there, I finally lived here and everything. I was on the phone confirming something with the nurse, and she goes, of the Mayo Clinic, mind you, in this executive department, she goes, oh, lists my full name. She goes, is Ron your father? The blood that left my body, the chill, the sinking heart, knowing that it was all ruined. Ooh, I can't do this again. It's 45 minutes, fuck. Because she said right after that, she's like, oh, we all love him here. Oh my God, he's so nice. He's so this, he's so that. There's a serious amount of paperwork to do to get into the Mayo Clinic and the executive department, and so many forms you have to fill out, and your entire history. And because they fucked up, and they know they fucked up, because the speed with which their like managers and stuff emailed me and were like, oh dear God. Because I immediately told her, I was like, well, actually, my dad abused me my entire life, which is the reason I need this physical. So not actually such a nice guy. So glad I know that you all love him, and I would yet again in my life get really biased healthcare. that wouldn't actually do me any good, because a bunch of some of the best doctors in the world not believing what I say already as a woman, and a young woman, and this, and then being like, our dad's so nice, like, stupid, like, pampered, judge's daughter, he's supposed to be a princess, and lying, and it's happened before. So, wasn't about to do that with a, like, extremely expensive Mayo physical. So, and again, lawyers, if you could chime in, I don't know if there's something I could do about that. The soul got sucked out of my body, and I literally just was like sobbing on the floor for days. I couldn't do it again, because even though you have to fill out all that paperwork, they don't have a system between all of the branches where you can be like, oh, well, it didn't work out at the Arizona branch, let me just send it to the Wisconsin, I think, one. No. You got to start the whole process over again and wait more and more months to organize it. And yeah, anyways, I'll get into it later, but it was just, I can't exactly quantify how devastating that was, because now that opportunity is gone. I don't even have health insurance. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's something I maybe could have sued for, but I was beyond exhausted and broken down by all of this, and just in the briefest phone call, hearing that all of it was a waste of time. So yeah, I have a paper trail for all of that if anyone knows more about it, because I can't articulate how crushed my soul was to have, like, salvation dangled in front of me and to be chasing after it like a dog with a stick for years. I was fighting so hard to get out, to get that, and then just hear it disintegrate in a single moment. So yeah, in a million ways, my parents have intentionally robbed me of healthcare and irreparably degraded the hell out of my health, and the cherry on top was Mayo just stabbing me in the fucking heart. But it saved me from a massive waste of time, so I guess that's okay. Yeah. Not okay, you know what I mean. But yeah, like I said, my parents have my birth certificate, social, all of my known possessions, so I don't know how to get copies of those documents, because I desperately want to move abroad. I want to get healthcare and move abroad and just finally start my life, and I'm sure there's a ass ton of paperwork that I need to get a visa, and I will eventually need help obtaining that as well, if I even survive all of this shit. So, yeah, the only way that I got my license back was because I had a rent emergency, because they like changed a thing with the app. It was weird. Anyways, I ended up having to email my dad to beg for my ID, and my parents immediately assumed I had some court date, and we're all shady and shitty about it, and I'll explain why they think that in a second. But like, I've been this private school good girl, judge's daughter, my entire fucking life, and needing my driver's license, their first thought was, she must have a court case. She got caught driving without a license, and now she's fucked. Now she has to come to our place of work and be like, you know, have to kowtow to their power. It was a whole manipulative, fucked up thing, but I genuinely don't know what lies they've been telling people about what I've been doing during no contact, but I'm pretty sure that they're selling some story about me being like on drugs off the deep end, and like, oh, poor them, they just did everything they could, and I'm just so depressed that like it's my fault somehow, because my mom has a drug addict son, so like they can easily be like, she grew up and, you know, something happened, clearly she's partying too much. I've been at home in my apartment watching YouTube and Netflix. No parties. I'm really, really, really immunocompromised. I still have to isolate and mask from the rest of the world. And yeah, so they've, for years and years and years, because of my parents' status in the city, when you have a kid that's not in college anymore, doesn't have a successful job, yada, 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 they come up with ways to like explain that off to their friends, because when you're successful like that, it raises red flags when your kid isn't doing well. And so I know for a fact that they've been talking shit about me to all their coworkers and all their friends, like, oh, well, Sarah's just so depressed. We've done everything that we can, like we pay for her to exist, so we just don't know, like our toy is broken. It's like, oh, I wonder why I'm so sick and depressed. Maybe perhaps the decades of abusing me and abusing my brother to death. Maybe there was a reason, and maybe you're not these innocent little, oh, we just tried so best. We tried so hard. We gave her everything. Oh, sure. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, is desperately trying to heal. And it's been a struggle to even shower myself. I have to use a shower chair most of the time. So it's just them concocting these psycho stories of what I'm actually doing. It should show you how little they know me and how much my parents have like projected on me, and how evil they are, that was their first presumption. And like, it's a situation that they engineered and manufactured by withholding my license, my registration, my insurance. Like, they intentionally want me to get caught. And I did not drive for a very, very long time because I don't want to break the law, and because I know I would be at the mercy of all of their friends if I got some gigantic ass ticket. So that's why their immediate presumption was like, oh, she must have a court date. Like, haha, we won. Like, we set up this situation to get her caught by the cops. And like, it won. You need your ID? Why? Because you have to show up to court? No, because I have to go to the bank, actually. Just had to go to the bank and get a check. Thanks. But like, I didn't want them to know that, because then I never would have gotten the ID. They would have found more excuses. They found so many excuses. They were trying to force me to go outside and speak to them to hand off the ID, because they were like, well, we just haven't seen you in years. We don't know what you're like. I think they expect me to be some like emaciated crackhead. And like, because they've been selling that story to their friends. And I was like, no, I was shaking out of my mind when my mom even showed up here for the briefest moments. Like, and I said, my dad used to stalk me. I used to be terrified for weeks on end every time he would show up. So yeah, not exactly going out and partying. But yeah, that's why that was their presumption, because they were like, ooh, we won our little fucked up scenario. So yeah, they were just hoping that they had even more power over me now. And like, they broke the law to manufacture a situation where I would intentionally get into legal trouble. They would intentionally get me into legal trouble. So my dad he offered, again, nuance to this conversation, he actually did offer me recently to sell my car and keep the money, which is only because he's been driving by so much. My apartment faces the street, that he knows I'm not using it. Which he even was threatening to like, do I need to pay insurance more? You don't even drive. How do you know that? But I can see their cars driving by and parking and staring at me and anyways, harassing me. So yeah, I'm not, but the thing is I'm not using it because he knows that it's a legal trap that he's trying to set me in. But the car would, I looked it up, would maybe only cover a month, maybe month and a half of rent. So I'd be better off just giving up the apartment and living in my fucking car, which is a fucking insane thing to say, especially if you knew where I came from. And it's not even really feasible because I would literally die in the summer heat, first of all. But that's precisely what my parents want, is to strip me of all of my dignity and all of my freedom, so that I'm forced to come back to them and like admit that I couldn't hack it and that I can't survive without them. Like I can't tell you how ravenously, desperately they want that, because they intentionally chopped my legs off and financially abused me and medically abused me and all of these things to force me to be more helpless and reliant on them. So it's like, I'm not this like pathetic, stupid thing. It's like, I was their kid. They had 30 years on me each. You know, I couldn't have known every fucked up thing they were gonna do. They always had so much time and so much authority over me. There was no way for me to like, to know all of the traps they were setting for me, and so yeah, they're just trying to strip me of all my dignity, so I'm forced to come back to them. But I am very clearly telling whoever is watching this now that I would rather die. I would rather die than go back to them, and I desperately want to live. I did not survive decades of hell to die in this disgraceful, sick, demeaning way where I've just barely scraped by surviving. The fact that I am about to make it to 30 years old is, I cannot tell you what a miracle it is. All of the younger versions of me are shocked to shit because of everything I've endured, everything I've witnessed from my brother, just all of it. So, sorry. I would rather die than go back to them, because it would be way less torture than being with them. Especially now that I've gone no contact and, you know, finally said, fuck you, you abused me, and escaped. If I went back, the levels of hell that would be waiting for me are ones even I have not seen before. I was there like Cinderella in a lot of ways before. Like, they would sabotage me going to school and then be like, well, since you're not in school, you can do this and this and this and this and this for me. Because they like having me around as a punching bag and as the stepmom to my mom's boyfriend's kids, which I was, and, you know, she wasn't doing anything with them. I was the big sister, but I was the stepmom role. I was a lot. I was the glue of my family and the punching bag and everything. So, yeah, death would be less torture than being back with them. But even if I weren't to sell a car and kept it to live in, I've had the car for 15 years, but it's not in my name. So if I went anywhere, or especially if I left the state, that would just increase the charges. And my dad is just gonna call and report it as stolen to punish me and destroy my life further. And if you think I'm exaggerating, no, these people are incredibly fucking vindictive and evil and filled with boiling rage. And I don't even fully know, and no one knows them better than me, I don't even fully know what they're going to do as a retaliation for this. I've thought about it a lot, but I wrote a whole thing about that somewhere, maybe not in this short version, holy shit, sorry. But my dad also lied in order to try to steal my money, which Charles Schwab fully enabled by not even remotely doing their due diligence, by at minimum telling me what the fuck I was signing. And I tried to contact them and was going to take legal action, but by the time I figured out what the fuck they did to me, the pandemic was already in full swing, so I couldn't like march down there and get a manager to give me the footage of the employee who did this fucked up thing. But she was very, very specific, so I mean, one, fuck her forever. She could have destroyed my entire life. just because she can't do her fucking job and do due diligence, and inform me of my rights to my own money. But like, my dad is also a fucking judge, and he lied repeatedly to me and broke the law to again manufacture this situation where I would sign over money to him that the essentials are, he created an account for me, I think before I was born, and it accrued money over time. I did not know such an account existed. When I turned 25 is when I finally had access to it. So he made it seem like I had to come in to sign the paperwork to get access to the account that we both had to sign to be like, yep, now it's yours. What actually happened was that I signed him because no one explained to me, and silly me, I figured even knowing the depth of my parents' depravity, didn't think my dad was stooped as low as like committing such egregious fraud and like trying to steal my money. This was in my name. It was only my account. I didn't think he would do something so psycho and evil. And it, like, you don't know my dad, but like, for me to not think that, like, that, nothing is past him, essentially, in my brain. But like, that, I at minimum didn't think he would risk his job to do something like this, because his reputation and his career they're the only things that mean anything to him. So I never thought that he would do something that psycho and evil, really. I mean, I did, but like, I didn't think that he would do it like legally do something illegal. Although it is technically, signing him onto the account is legal, but like, when I called Schwab and was like freaking the fuck out about this, they're like, oh yeah, this actually happens all the time. I'm sorry, this happens all the fucking time, and you're not doing your due diligence to tell people what the fuck they're signing? Because forgive me for trusting the banker and my father, the 30-year judge, and now, they're 30-year lawyer and now judge, so like, I thought we both had to sign the paperwork to transfer it to me. I didn't know I was signing him onto it. And he could still drain my account because he has access to it. And they told me like, oh, you can move the money to a new account, which there's barely fucking any left, which is why I'm desperately asking for help. Because again, no college, no job, chronically ill, disabled. I cannot physically work no matter how much I want to. No matter how much I want to be a functioning member of society, I cannot currently because of everything that's been done to me. But, yeah, he could still steal the money now. And they were like, you can make a new account and just transfer the money there. But how do I make a new account? I don't even have a permanent address. Like, I'm trying to move out of here. I cannot afford to fucking live here. I've got like paid for this month, next month, and then I cannot live after that. It is too fucking expensive. I need like crumbs of money left to find somewhere to stay alive. And so, you know, again, I'm trying to move. I can't set this place as my main banking address. I can't set it as the address for my ID, for my passport. So I mention all those things because what the fuck do I do? I'm trying to move out of the country. I can't afford to live in this country anymore. But I also I would love to pursue my dreams at one point. It just is a lot. So it's like, how do I get a visa to live abroad if I don't have a permanent address? Can you put a P.O. box on all of that stuff? Like, what the hell do I do? What the hell? What? So yeah, at any moment I could be dead flat broke as hell. If he tries to retaliate, I'm fucked. I will have literally nothing. So that brings me to, because of the lifelong abuse, I was also financially abused, and I don't have a credit card of my own or a line of credit, and I don't even know how the fuck to get one or even use it once I have it. Like, besides swiping, I've never had that much autonomy. So like, I desperately need help there. So if anyone could tell me a good card to get, or like how the fuck someone like me even gets one, that would be great, because like, I would rather go severely into debt than die. So desperately need help there. But yeah, if you think I'm not already painfully, mortifyingly embarrassed to admit all of this, like I mentioned before, I went to school with people involved in the college admissions scandal, but like, I don't even have a credit card. So I'm keenly aware of how fucked up all of this is. I went to class. All of the people that I've known my entire life are like the upper echelons of society. I was not the same as them. I was considered like broke at my schools, just being a lawyer's daughter and a judge's daughter. Like, I was around them. I was not one of them. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I haven't used a credit card in over 5 years or something like that. So, I don't know what my credit score and whatever would be. So how do I get an apartment? I have no job, no proof of income, no water bill, light bill, whatever. Like, I can't even get a shitty landlord at this point. Which is, again, why I've been egregiously fucking overpaying here, because I'm trapped, and this is all egregiously mortifying to admit. So yeah, and without insurance, my most basic medicine that I need to function is $900 fucking a month, and then $300 just for the appointment to get the medication. And because it's a controlled substance, super fucking hard to get, because it's impossible to find a decent, even remotely decent doctor in Vegas, and there are like no providers for my medication, which is my brain medication, because it's a controlled substance. So like, you'll meet a bunch of these doctors, and because you need that med, they immediately are like, you're drug seeking, and I'm like, it's like insulin for me. Like, you wouldn't be shitty to a diabetic because their pancreas doesn't work. It's not that my brain doesn't work, but like, there are parts of it that need treatment. I have ADHD. It is very severe and crippling in my life. The disability is disabling, and years and years and years of intentionally being deprived of it, not being medicated as a person with ADHD, causes brain damage. It's been proven. It causes worse outcomes later in life. It vastly increases the rate of death. Like, it's very serious. I know people have this stigma of ADHD and like, oh, you're taking cocaine. Not even close. That's not what it does in my body, because I don't have a brain that doesn't need this. It's a lot to get into. This video is already an hour. I'm sorry. Whew. But yeah, on top of the $1,200 just for my basic medication a month, $1,200 just for my basic medication a month, trying to find a doctor here is impossible. And then they're not going to give you the med the first appointment, so that's $600 down the drain. And then what if that doctor doesn't work out? Then you've got to do that again and again and again. And I can't afford that. I can't. That's psychotic. So yeah, I can't afford to be jerked around like that when I've had the diagnosis for almost 15 years, you know? Like, it's a fucking brain medication, and I'm obviously not going to be paying $900 to like sell it on the street. And they make accessing ADHD meds like the most impossible thing in the world for people who specifically have it. So it's just, none of the doctors in Vegas are good, and like, cause like, who decides to move here? Anyways, so maybe there are great doctors here, but I certainly haven't found them. And, you know, $1,500 a month, $1,200 for my brain medication, another like $300 for my inhaler to breathe. So I can't afford that. And I don't know what to do about it. And I mentioned earlier a bit that like, because I am neurodivergent and have depression, and who doesn't in this world, you know, like I said, because my dad's obviously successful and well-known, there have obviously been a lot of questions from his friends and my classmates' parents and, you know, the family, everybody, colleagues, whatever, about like why I'm not doing well. So over the years, they have for sure been like slowly setting up this whole thing about how I'm just so depressed and they don't know what to do. Like as if they're just these loving parents who unfortunately have this like sad broken toy that like, oh, it doesn't work anymore. Like, we don't know. We did everything for it. So, yeah, I'll explain more later, but I just really want people to know that it is very, 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 and I've discussed this with friends, very much a threat of them trying to Britney me. To like take my money and lock me up somewhere, probably to prevent me from doing this. So again, if it ever goes to a court case, they're gonna try and blame it on my mental health or whatever, as if they aren't directly the cause of every single problem I have in my life. So, yeah, that's very, very, very much a threat of them trying to Britney me and like take all of my autonomy and just let someone else abuse me to silence me. So I just feel like I need to get that out of the way and let the world know that yeah, I have mental health issues, but not the like, I cannot function way. Like, I can't function in society because those tools have been intentionally taken away from me. If I had them, or if I can learn them now, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd still deserve to be an autonomous human being in the world. Like, I don't deserve to have my rights taken away because my rights were already taken away. So I just need to get that out of the way. So if anyone can help me, then like, please, because they stole my entire future from me. And so yeah, my dad trapped me with no proof of bills or anything. So what the fuck do I do? How do I get another place? And like, how the fuck do I start paying for a place without all of that information? And like, because I know they're going to retaliate, how do I start paying the cable bill and the water bill and for the AC and stuff and the Wi-Fi? Because he has all of that paperwork since I moved in here, which I know is great that I haven't had to pay that. But like at the beginning, again, I thought like, oh, I've suffered my entire life. Finally, I'll just take the gift that is finally being given to me. Like, I've suffered a lot. I deserve this apartment. Damn it. I will take it. And so my dad paying those bills as well, I was like, oh, wonderful. Thank God. Oh my God. Thankfully. And I thought it was a great thing at first. Very quickly realized like, oh no, that's another way to trap me. Shit. Maybe not very quickly because I didn't go no contact immediately, but as things progressed, I was like, oh no. I was trying to call, there's a cable issue. I was trying to call and they were like, oh, what's your account? And I was like, oh, Christ. And it hit me that I was like, I don't have any paperwork related to any of that. So like if he stops paying it and all of it just shuts off at once, like, how do I even call? He's the one who's been paying. He's the one who signed up with their websites or their whatever. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to untangle that. So I desperately just want to like cut and run from here as soon as I can, certainly as soon as this is up. So, I'm really fucking out of my depth. I'm completely out of my depth and I feel so fucking stupid and I hate that. I'm not used to feeling helpless and stupid in that particular way. Helpless, yeah, because my parents have robbed me of a lot, but like I said, like eldest daughter, eldest sister, I was doing a lot and taking care of a lot and feeling dumb like this and out of my depth, and there being so many different factors that can fuck me over. It's just a lot. I don't know what to do about it. I can't afford to move really, and I don't know how given the circumstances. So yeah, I need to renew my passport. Even if I magically fix all of this and like want to move abroad and get a visa, I don't know how to get a new passport because I have no permanent address in the US. Can you set a passport to a PO box? Like, how do I, it's not like I can be like, oh, hey friend, can I use your address? Because like everyone my age is also going to be moving and doing stuff too. So also, my phone service is set up with him, and like I've wanted for a while to just like do that mobile thing or whatever. I think I can do that, but like I need a new phone. Mine is old as shit, and I've never bought my own phone before or been able to or like service, and it's like my laptop is also severely crapping out. I need a new one of those, or will soon. And again, I've never signed a wireless contract before. Again, I'm not this pampered princess. It's been a lot of, it's like, yes, it was good that my parents took care of me, but like it was to trap me. So yeah, it's like if I get a new phone, I don't want to sign some 2-year contract and be trapped, because like I want to move abroad and I don't want to pay for all that. And like, how do I get a copy of my social security card? I'm pretty sure there's only one, and like I think there's like very slim circumstances where you get them like send you a new one. But another issue that is very embarrassing is I haven't paid my taxes because I don't know how. And again, I have no income. I pay taxes on food and everything all of the time, but like I don't know what I would be taxed on with no income. I'm giving the world money. I'm certainly not fucking getting any. So if somehow an accountant sees this, can you please, for the love of God, tell me what the hell to do? Because for several years I haven't, because I'm just like, I don't know. With all of this, I've been way too sick. And again, you don't know how long I've been working up and how much I've been trying to take care of my body and my mind to even be able to exert the energy to do this. And I've been talking for nearly an hour and a half, which this was supposed to be like a 20-minute video. But like, this is the most energy I've exerted in a long time, and thankfully I'm just sitting down. But like, my back is killing me. This is so do or die, and it's the only reason I am like using all of the cortisol and adrenaline in my body to just get this out, because again, it's a week until I turn 30. I can't live with myself if this isn't just out in the world by then. Like, I deserve for the world to know what happened to me and my brother, and for the shame to not be mine anymore. These were not my sins to carry. My parents are the ones who deserve the shame and the judgment that I have been forced to take on. And I need this off of my soul as quick as I can. So yeah, I've been too sick to work or even take care of myself. Like, this exigent circumstances, like hair and makeup, this isn't even, I washed it and put some mousse in, and that was a lot of effort for me. And like, I used to be an athlete and wake up at 5 a.m. to get ready, and like now I'm like, I put on foundation and mascara. What a workout. So yeah, I need help from people to know, like, how the fuck do I make money under these conditions? Like, how do I survive? Like, currently I have too much money to qualify for like disability or, you know, assistance or whatever, but like by the time I get there, I'm basically going to be dead because I won't be able to afford this. And it complicated web, and it's just, again, it's just so mortifying to admit because I'm a breath away from 30 and I should know how or be capable of doing all of this, but like I am all on my own and dealing with all of these circumstances. I'm alone in the world, and I've been blamed my entire life for everything and for being in this situation. And the truth is just that it was absolutely not my fault. And if mortifying myself is the only way to finally get support and help, then so be it. So yeah, I just, how the fuck do I make money under these conditions, not having been able to finish my degree and this ridiculous gap since I've last worked? Like, I know how to be a secretary and how to work retail and bus tables, but like, it's been years and years since I've done that, and it's the most competitive job market, and I have to wear a mask, and I'm sick as shit right now. I have so many unsolved medical issues. It just, I've tried already to research all of the things and like even go to like Reddit and be like, how did people survive abuse and get out? But I'm in way over my head about it, and there are way too many fires to put out. So like, if people who've gone through anything similar and have already done all the legwork and research, and we'd be so deeply kind as to please spare me the unnecessary agony of doing all of that all over again. And you know, I don't want to carve out the path all over again. So if anyone already has and knows all of the things I need to know, please tell me. I would be beyond grateful. So because I do not have a drop in me anymore. Like, I'm probably not going to speak for like days or a week after this, because this is exerting a lot of energy to be up and talk, and it's mortifying and embarrassing to have to put everything out there that I've forcibly suppressed for 3 fucking decades, but I can't anymore. This is not my burden. This is not my weight. These are not my sins. I've been fighting for far too long, all on my own, while sick, while neurodivergent, while healing from ridiculous amounts of abuse, and just, like I said, bleeding while crawling up a mountain of broken glass. Like, I'm just truly beyond empty. And this doesn't show you all of the days that I spend crying in bed in pain and, you know, unable. I love to cook. I can't anymore. That's too much effort for me now, and that's ridiculous. So I've been collapsing into like primordial goo because of this, and I haven't been able to take care of myself or my life. I'm failing at recovering because of so many different factors, and I don't even remotely feel like me anymore. I've dealt with really bad agoraphobia too, because my dad was stalking me and harassing me with the cops. I swear, every time I tried to leave the house, and like every kid of abusive parents knows this, like the second they have some psychotic sixth sense, like the second that you're getting better or you're about to do the thing, they're right there. They're right fucking there to sabotage it, to whatever. Like, you know how some people are like, oh, my mom has a motherly instinct, she just knows when I'm sad. My parents know when the precise moment to fuck everything up for me is when I'm just just getting a little too mentally healthy, they yank therapy away from me or whatever. Like, it's just, there's too many examples in my life of it, but especially like with showing up at my apartment, ringing the doorbell, like, and where I live, there's cameras, so I would be sitting there and just suddenly see my dad's face with this like huge thing and huge loud noise and shake for weeks. And I had nightmares for 3 years straight because of like detoxing from the abuse. And yeah, I was just, every time I tried to leave, he would just somehow show up right then, like that day. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the grocery store at 1 p.m. Oh, noon, he's right there. So yeah, I would like finally psych myself up to it, and he would just be there every fucking time. And I can't face him. I could barely even remotely open my email because it terrified me to even remotely have like the thought of seeing that he had, you know, written to me or my mom or whatever. Like, I'm not kidding about how badly the abuse has affected me. Like, it sounds so silly to not be able to check your email, but it's the only point of contact that I left open with my parents because I specifically was worried that something would happen to the kids and I wouldn't know. So, anyways, yeah, 3 decades of abuse and neglect have left me with so many health issues that I can't function anymore. I can't work, I can't study, I can't even take care of myself. I used to be an athlete and enjoy going to the gym, but now I have to use a fucking shower chair. The rare times that I have enough of a scrap of energy to finally shower, and just there's just so much more, and it's egregiously mortifying. I can't even tell you how much energy it took to get ready for this and to do it several times over because the video kept messing up. So, I look terrible because of all the sickness. It's robbed me of my appearance and my dignity. And I know you don't know me, but please just trust me that it has robbed me of my appearance, and I haven't been able to look at myself for years. Like, I don't fully recognize myself anymore because of the changes that happened, because of my health. And I've lost, if I'm honest, like 2/3 of my hair, but at minimum half of it because of what's going on in my body. And I know you might be like, no, there's a lot. I've used a lot of mousse and a hair dryer, and trust me, it didn't go out in patches or anything, but it is thinned out incredibly. And yeah, tried to make myself look decent for this. It's, my hair's halfway gone at minimum. They've just destroyed my body and health irreparably. Like I said before, the abuse has stolen 30 years from me, but it's also going to kill me early. And that's why I have to speak now. I have so many pressing health issues and zero way to address them all. I have so much inflammation in my body, it's obscene. I have fucking bursitis everywhere in my joints, which is a ridiculously suddenly onset painful swelling of the joints, like ridiculously painful. And more important than that is my neck has been swollen for the last several months, here, but especially right here. I don't know if you can fully see it, but that's not a muscle entirely. This is where my clavicle is supposed to be, and that is normally, no matter how much weight I gain, that is normally a dent. There's always, without me even trying, there's normally a full dent there. You can see where my clavicles, it's normally a dent. Instead, it's like I have golf balls in there. My lymph nodes are so unbelievably swollen and have been for months. My armpits are swollen, the back of my knees are swollen, even my hips are swollen, this and this. And I remember when Hank Green first got diagnosed with cancer, he was like, oh, I have like one like lump in my armpit. And he basically got diagnosed with cancer like the next day. I've been dealing with all of this for a month. And it's not like I can just go to Quick Care and be like, hey, because there's so many other issues going on that it could be. Like a Quick Care is not sufficient. Even just basic doctor is not sufficient. It would take a team like the Mayo Clinic to figure out everything that's wrong. Like it would take like a concerted team to find out everything that's wrong with me. So I'm like, oh, it's not even fucking worth it. Like just going to some shitty Quick Care in Las Vegas where we don't have a great caliber of medical providers. So I've just been dealing with it because I'm like, I can't be hit. I only have a debit card. I can't be hit with some huge ass medical bill. Blood work at minimum for some of the things that I need is like $1,500. And like the last time I remember I had to get blood work and they were like, oh, you have an outstanding bill. And I was like, what? For what? Like I haven't gotten anything in years. Like, what are you talking about? It was some like $20 bill. And they were like, oh, we can't take your blood or like do this until you pay. And I was like, I'm sorry, you'll let me die over like a $20 bill if this were the case? Like, and that's fucking America. I'm way too medically complex to just go to a Quick Care and they'll send me to some hospital that's also ill-equipped, and I just don't know what the fuck to do now. So I guess a lot of the juicier details will come later in follow-up videos. This is already an hour and a half. But I was like supposed to be married, living abroad by now. And instead I am turning fucking 30 years old. The last birthday of my youth. The last like special birthday. It's not like, oh, you're old now. No. And I'm staring down the barrel of like everything that's been robbed from me and how my whole entire life and future has been ripped out from under me. And I'm just going to be celebrating my birthday alone, extremely ill, depressed as fuck, and with no plans because I've been trapped in their fucking spider web and I can't even access the medication I need to have basic level brain functioning. And I was supposed to be celebrating my birthday like in Japan, having like a beautiful experience and getting massages and going to like onsens and having beautiful experiences that are just like restful. Like I don't mind going somewhere alone, but I can't afford to do any of that now. So I'm just gonna be sitting here alone for the 5th year in a row, too sick to go anywhere, too in pain to go anywhere, and just rotting away. Happy 30th birthday to me. All of my dreams and hopes just destroyed. And I don't know, after moving out, I was supposed to fly to Seoul, Korea, and have my like Kelly Clarkson breakaway moment that I've been dreaming of my entire life. And moving to Korea specifically has been my dream for the last 10 fucking years. But I didn't fully realize how tangled of a web my parents wove and just how trapped I was, even though I'd finally moved out. But then all the sickness was taking over, all the depression, the magnitude of the trauma and abuse finally hit me like a tsunami. Like, no one tells you, because there's not a lot of people who've been in as long of abuse as me. No one tells you that, like, when you've been running off of adrenaline and cortisol your entire life and you've been abused and you've had to suppress everything, the millisecond that you're finally safe, even if you don't feel safe, everything comes up and boils over. It's like one of those super fast Japanese trains all of a sudden coming to a stop. Like, everything fucking implodes. Everything. Like, I had nightmares for 3 years straight, every night. It only pretty recently stopped, and I don't know if they stopped or if I just don't remember them anymore because I'm so used to it. So, yeah, after holding back the dam for 26 years straight, everything hit all at once and it overcame me entirely. So I didn't get to fly off into the sunset and pursue my dreams and go and like show Korea through my eyes, and haven't gotten to pursue any of my dreams. And all I really, really hope for now is just to get some fucking healthcare and figure out where to move that I can afford and how to fucking survive entirely on my own in the world under all these conditions. It was like, instead of my Kelly Clarkson breakaway moment, I'm still enduring my because of you era. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so unbelievably tired of it and everything it's taken from me, and that no matter what I do, I can't escape from everything they've done. I have not had an ounce of fun in 5 years. Because it's just been every day dealing with, sorry, with the enormity of what they've done to me. And it's just, when you're abused that long, like, it takes, and you suppress so much, it takes a long time to just like let your brain stop burning. Like, you saw the beginning, I still have severe anxiety. And that also, I forgot to mention, one of the things with Mayo Clinic that I desperately need is that I am 99% certain that I have a cortisol disease, which normally you only get with a brain tumor. So either I have a brain tumor or my parents stressed me out so badly for so long that it mimics a brain tumor that ruins your entire body. And I just don't fully know how to contend with that in my brain. It's not exactly the kind of thing you can like just go out and be like, oh, who gives a shit if I'm immunocompromised. And either my parents abused me so badly that it mimicked a fucking brain tumor and a million other horrible things going on in my body. But yeah, it doesn't exactly leave a lot of room for joy and freedom and fun. And I haven't experienced any of that in a really long time. I haven't even had a fucking hug in years. And it's just, it's a lot to wrap my head around that I can't most days. Like, people in lockdown, they lost like a month, maybe 2. Most people didn't even remotely give a shit, and they're like acting like they're still traumatized all these years later because they got like a long vacation. I've been in my apartment for 5 years and I lost an entire 30 years of my life. So if a couple months was hard for you, imagine what the fuck I'm going through. You can't unless you've been through it. And so, and it's not just the 30 years, like I said, it's going to kill me early. Like, what my parents did to me is going to be my cause of death. whether it's in a couple months from all of that or in a couple years, or I don't know. It's a miracle I've survived this long, because I know with everything I've gone through there, and even therapists have told me this, that like there are a lot of people who would have forced quit before now, and it's just too much for one person. And so it's embarrassing to tell people all of this, but like I deserve a decent life, and I deserve to be free, and I deserve to get healthcare and not die from this, at least not now. Because unless I get hit by a train or something, like if I die from any kind of health issue, Mom and Dad gave me that present. That's my happy birthday. So, yeah, I have to look through my outline because I've already said a lot that I was going to leave. Sorry. Okay, so I know I thought of something and then forgot it because I was crying so bad. So, yeah, for the healthcare thing, I know people are going to try and suggest that I do medical tourism, which I've already thought of. Problems of that being, again, I don't have a passport, and I don't have a permanent address to link it to, even if I wanted to get some rushed passport, and I don't have a credit card to put all the flights and everything on, and on top of that, like, I would love to get healthcare in an English-speaking country so that I fully know what is going on and can fully explain, because it's not like I just have like one thing that I'm going for. It's not like I'm going to Turkey for a boob job. It's like there's a lot of complicated shit. But yeah, also the fact that I am a woman completely alone in the world. I am 100% prime like organ harvesting thing. And I'm not even trying to conspiracy theory, like I'm just saying, like, girl with no family, alone across the world, didn't bring like a friend with her to make sure everything is okay, like and I know there are like very reputable hospitals and stuff, but again, passport stuff, like how do I even do that? So yeah, there's something I'm going to come back to, but yeah, whatever. Before I do, I'll just say, I did mention that it's been my dream for the last 10 years to move to Korea, and I want to add that, like, I don't care if you now think that I'm lame or whatever because of your prejudices and stuff, because I've studied cultures all of my life. I speak many languages and can read even more of them. And no one used to think it was lame or weird when I was young and I really, really, really loved France and learned French and went to France and wanted to live in France. Like, people thought it was like gorgeous and like, oh, she's so educated and so, worldly and this and that. But like, when I talk about wanting to move to Seoul, people get like really weird and judgy. So please don't be weird and shitty about it being in Asia. Like, I love the food, I love the culture, I love the variety shows. Like, it's a whole thing, and I really want to show it through my eyes. Like, that is my dream for the last 10 fucking years. Like, that's who I am. I've always loved studying cultures and languages. I love history, art history, anthropology, archaeology, sociology, art, and it's just a different version over there, and one I'm really drawn to and like feel called by and fascinated by, and I want to keep learning more, and I have friends there, and I feel comfortable there, and like I said, I really want to show it through my eyes. And if I live through all of this. I really hope that I get to do that. And it's scary to put my dream out there, but like all of the other ones have been killed, so you know, who cares, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, if people are now judging me weirdly because of that, like, weird. Like, I grew up on Anthony Bourdain and stuff and like all of these travel shows, and I want to show it through my eyes, not some cheesy like TikTok about like, ooh. Anyways, more serious stuff. I am also coming out about this because I know I'm not the only kid of the justice system who has been abused. You think all those cops who go out and beat brown people are just like peaches and cream to their family when they get home? No. These are incredibly fucking angry, violent people. These are disturbed souls. Like, you know that 40% statistic? Yeah, no one ever talks about the kids. And no one ever talks about the people in the rest of the justice system. And I really want to add on that, like, fucking all of my mom's coworkers in the courthouse, like my entire life, had kids who were addicts and in and out of prison. Like, that is not a fucking coincidence at all. I know these kids. I know what has happened to them. I've seen it in their own homes. Like, again, it's not a coincidence that like all of my mom's closest friends and coworkers all have kids that have severe addictions, which addiction is a mental health issue. It's a way that people use to cope with extreme trauma. I know for a fact that's precisely what happened to my brother, and I'll tell more of his story later, but this is almost 2 hours. Holy Christ. But yeah, all of these ladies that she's been friends with have all been really nice to me, just the same way that my mom is nice to their kids and my mom is nice to the people that I grew up with. But of course they were nice to their friend's daughter and eventually the judge's daughter. Like, of course everyone in the courthouse was going to be nice to me and suck up to me because I am the judge's daughter. My mom is like a head honcho in the courthouse. Like, of course they're going to be nice to me, to my face. I know for a fact my parents have been talking immense amounts of trash about me to them. So I don't know what their personal opinions are of me. I know they're nice to my face, but that doesn't count for much with these people at all. Kids just don't spontaneously turn to hard drugs for nothing. Like, a lot of series of really fucking horrific shit has to happen to you to get to that point where now somehow all of the children of all of the employees of the courthouse are on heroin. One I know for a fact has a heroin addict son and a stripper daughter. And to be clear, I do not blame the kids whatsoever. I know for a fact that they went through some hard shit for those to be their only ways to cope and survive, respectively. Like, the fact that they had to turn to that when they came from like good middle class homes. All of these people in the courthouse all have kids who happen to need fucking heroin. Don't insult our intelligence. So, yeah, it's not just a few bad apples, is what I'm saying. Like, the entire tree is rotten. They say cops like, oh, it's just a few bad apples. No, Every fucking branch is rotten. These people who enjoy punitive punishment, that make it their identity, they take that home too. There are so many kids of the justice system, of this one courthouse in particular in Las Vegas, that I know were abused like me. I just don't think they have quite as flashy of a story as I do, being the judge's daughter. You know, it doesn't hit as hard if you're like, my mom's a court clerk. And I get that. And so I can't do this just for myself. There's so many other people who deserve justice and their own, you know, free speech if they so choose to join me in this or whatever, speak up. No one has to, because again, I know how scary this is and how dangerous it is. But it's just, I've seen inside. I know how the whole thing works. I know how ingratiated and connected all these people are. And all these ladies were really nice to me growing up, but I've seen through the facade. So me calling this out is getting me even more enemies. A lot of powerful ones, because it's not just all these ladies who worked at the courthouse, it's all of their powerful attorney friends and this and that friends. And this is why I said, like, even if my parents, you know, if there's a case from them against me, all of their friends are gonna fuck up the paperwork and shuffle it around and do whatever to exhaust my finances so that I can't keep doing this, or any number of ways they can fuck me over. So, if I'm doing this, I might as well just really, truly wash the whole wound out. It's been festering and infected for so long because there are other kids who deserve justice. It's not just me, and it's not just my brother. There are other kids whose lives are not their fault either. Other smart kids with bright futures. My brother was an incredible artist. He was incredible at martial arts, and he was smart, and he was funny, and he was so handsome. And he dreamt of going snowboarding and going to Japan. And now I don't even have his ashes to scatter if I eventually go there. And deep down, I'm sure that if I asked, my mom would give them to me. But I'm so fucking scared of these people that even for this stuff, I've come to accept that I will lose it. If my parents haven't already set everything that I own on fire, including all of my childhood pictures, which their vengeful asses have threatened to do even before I left, I've just come to accept that, like, I'm too terrified of them to deal with this. Like, all of my stuff has been sitting at my dad's house for years, and I have not been able to get it because I can't deal with him. I can't interact with him. I don't even want to go back there to get my stuff and or just get a few childhood pictures. I'm way too scared of them, and so I've grieved all of that before, and ashes freak me out because it's not like part of my culture. So I know that my brother will be happy whether I get his ashes and can scatter them or not. Like, even if I just get to go to these places and, you know, bring him with me in spirit, like, I know that that's enough. So I just don't know that I'll be able to get there. And I'll tell his full story one day, because no one could survive it, and I love him, and I carry him everywhere and all of the time, and his life was snuffed out unjustly by the effects of the abuse. And like I said, I'll tell more one day because there's a lot, and I can't believe I've talked for 2 hours already. This was supposed to be such a quick video. So I'll just have to do a follow-up video so people really understand it was not his fault. And that my mom is also an abuser. I know mainly what I've talked about is things my dad has done recently, but my mom is bad too. She's quite bad too. And she was even worse than my mother. And I saw this post a while ago. This girl talking about how her abusive father used to threaten her when she was little with like, oh, I have friends in police. Like, don't do this. You have to listen to me because I have friends in the police. Not even, or no, I have connections. It was connections, not friends. Not even like, oh, I have a good friend who could like bury a body with me or anything. It was just like this vague threat of a connection to police. And of course, because she was little, even just like the vague threat of cops was, oh God, it's burning my face. I'm like crying, and I didn't for so many years because I would get abused more when I cried. And I suppressed it for so long that I had really bad dry eye, actually. But anyways. It was like the vague threat of the cops, and that was enough to keep her scared because she's little. Of course that makes perfect sense. Like, that's so completely valid beyond. I completely get that, especially when you're young. So I'm not trying to judge her. I'm just saying that when I saw that, because it was a very serious video, when I saw that, it hit me even more in that moment of the life I've been forced to lead. I grew up going to the courthouse and take your kid to work day being a tour of the jails and mom's courtroom, all the way up until my dad had his own courtroom, and that stayed into my adult life. And like, the conscious weight of walking into there every time, knowing that I was leading this double life, that I was forced to lead this double life and forced to keep the abuse inside. And we acted all loving and chill in front of everybody else, and it was just a picture perfect family. Yet, of course, they flipped the fuck out when we were alone. So it was like I would walk into these places, this pinnacle of the justice system, knowing that not a single person in there would be on my side if I told the truth, because they're all the same. They're all the same. All of their kids are dealing with these shitty ass lives now because all of our parents in the justice system are all the fucking same. There are of course a few that are doing well because they lucked out and their parents weren't abusive and horrible. A lot of the rest of us though, like I said, too many for it to be a coincidence. Like, someone really needs to investigate that, and all the people working there, because it's not a coincidence. So, like I said, they're all the same. All their kids are in similar situations too. And they just all have that like fuck ass boomer mentality, and like that severely unhealed trauma that they bleed out onto everyone else, and they punish us for existing. And then they sit there and they have lunch and they gossip and they blame us, the kids, for being fucked up by their abuse. Like, so many times I've heard my mom and her friends just sit around the table and talk endless shit about their kids, and me being like, oh, how did none of you have a single clue? Like, you're saying all of this out loud and none of you have a single clue that you are very obviously at fault, that you caused this. Like, the cognitive dissonance in these people is unfucking believable. But they're all the same. So they're all feeding each other's delusions that they were great parents. Like, allowing a child to live in your home does not make you a great parent. Paying for their food does not make you a great parent. That is the most bare minimum that you could possibly ever do. And it is not enough to be a decent parent, let alone a great parent. And the fact that most of us aren't doing well, like, that's a them problem, not an us problem. And they just act like it's fucking normal. yeah, it was just, the video, like, it was such a vulnerable thing for her to talk about, and that it was like so scary for her, and I'm not trying to minimize it. It's just, it really helped me sort of wrap my head around the magnitude of the pressure that I've been under my entire life. And I was like, oh yeah, no wonder I have a cortisol disease. Like, that's just a fraction of it. Like, this girl was scared of like the vague idea of a cop, not even a cop coming to her house. I went to cops' barbecues and cops' birthday parties and cops' hockey games and lived with multiple cops, and I never lived in a home without a gun. Keenly aware that I was living in homes with guns. The last time I was at my house, this is, again, you wonder why I don't want to go pick up my stuff. The last time I was at my dad's house, he tried to pull a gun on me. And I thankfully, thank God, had parked in the driveway and literally fucking ran and peeled out of my neighborhood and never looked back. And like, at any other time in history, in my position, being who I am, with who my parents are, I would have been completely dead by now. Like, it's a miracle beyond a miracle that this tool finally exists, and I can finally tell the world what's been happening and ask for help. And this is, all of this is only the tip of the iceberg. I don't know how I've talked for 2 hours, and this is, I've written like 40 more pages than this. So it's a miracle that this exists and I can post this and ask for help. Like, my life is still completely at risk, but do you know what I mean? Like, living in Vegas, if this happened before cell phones, like, I'm very serious that I would be a bag of bones in the desert by now. If anyone in the entire fucking country knows how to disappear people, it's my family and all of their friends. I lived with a homicide detective. Like he has even more connections. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just anywhere else in time or space. And if I didn't do this, it does not go well for me. This is my only chance. This is my Hail Mary. This is my last hope. This is my last stand. This is all I have got. And I just am desperately hoping that the universe hears me and the right people find me and help me, because I really want to live. I really want to live. And I don't want my little siblings to lose their big sister the way that I lost my big brother. Because I'm even closer with the kids than I was with my big brother. And like, I still grieve him deeply 13 years later. Like, that can't happen to them. Like, it cannot happen to them. So, yeah, like I said before, sorry, this is jumping around. Like I said, I cut out a lot of parts, and so whatever. With the context of like the college admissions scandal people, like, I'm just mentioning it because that's the kind of people that I was around, and it was my existence that brought all of those people to my dad. I afforded him those high-level connections and those very rich people to donate to his campaigns. So it's like, I grew up around those people, but not one of them, like, just on the outside. And like, I think I said earlier, like, as a lawyer's daughter, like, I was considered essentially broke. But like, it's still just like, to give you the context of like the dichotomy of it all. Like, my dad would take me to Europe and we would stay in chateaus and go to 3-star Michelin restaurants all the time, just so that he could be locked in a car with me screaming for 6 hours and for weeks on end. He just like had me all to himself to just like mentally torture. So it's a lot of stress and a lot of highs and a lot of lows for an 11-year-old to go through. So that's just a tiny indication of how I grew up, like going to galas with my dad because of all of the rich people in my schools, because I went to school with the kids of a billionaire, getting him billionaire donors, and, you know, invitations to fancy events because of me. And so yeah, that's how I grew up. And now I'm wondering, am I gonna live in my car? I can't get healthcare, so like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I was born and bred for an entirely different life. Like, I was very intentionally born and bred for like this world of academia. I was supposed to have an incredible job by now, and I'm smart enough for it and all of that, but like, I was supposed to go to a good school, get a great job, be married by now, be successful, living abroad, all of that. I was born and bred to be like my classmates and be as successful as them. And now I don't know how the fuck to even survive. I was literally like born and bred and programmed. My parents gave a shit about nothing about me aside from academics. Like, they academically abused me real bad. And I can't fully quantify how much the abuse has taken away from me. Like, my dad would take me on those European vacations and then not get me adequate health care. So things just metastasized and got worse over time. And as I got older, he would hold it over my head and withhold it from me. Like, when I was little, I didn't know that, like, oh yeah, a kid with asthma should be like going to get her lungs checked a lot. But they basically just like were like, nah, once and it's fine. Like, oh, 15 rounds of bronchitis and 5 rounds of pneumonia, including double pneumonia that nearly killed her, she'll be fine. Like, it truly was like a death by 1,000 cuts. Like, my parents took care of me enough that it didn't look suspicious, and that I couldn't like go to a teacher and be like, things are wrong. Like, I didn't have bruises, you know, but like, I didn't fully realize when I was little just how much more care I would be getting if my parents even like half cared about me. Instead, they just did like the bare minimum that they could to maintain appearances. And then when I needed more healthcare, like, they're again narcissists. Like, their toy was this like, they were like, my toy's broken, like it's disabled, ugh, like trash now it's useless. Like, so I don't know how the fuck to survive now. I didn't get all of the care that I should have gotten years and years and years and years ago, and now everything is built up so badly that I'm like, oh, is tomorrow going to be the day I don't exist anymore? I don't know. And yeah, my dad, he would withhold healthcare from me and refuse to allow me to go to appointments to get my medication, and then be like, oh, do you want to go to the gala? Do you want to go to Switzerland for my birthday? Not mine, his. It's just like this constant, like, again, constant extreme highs and extreme lows, and it's too much for the body to take. Like, my dad had the audacity. I sent him an email fucking screaming at him for the insurance thing. And to be clear, he has offered, I forgot to cut this part in earlier. He offered to now pay for my health care after I screamed at him and explained to him what he did and how I've been suffering for years. But like, his version of, he's promised to pay for so many things before and then fucking flipped out when the bill came. And an expensive, no insurance healthcare bill. He'll offer to pay, and then when he sees the bill, he'll leave me with it. That's all he'll do. Is, oh, I promise I'll pay now. I'll pay whatever you want now. I'll fix the problem. Just talk to me. Please, just talk to me, Sarah. No, you'll fuck me over again and make things even worse, because you always do, and you're a lying, evil piece of shit. Like, and even if, because him dangling salvation in front of me it was so tempting for a brief moment because I don't want to die. But like, then he would fuck me over. I just immediately know, like, oh, if I accepted this, I'm his prisoner again. I would have to speak to him. I would have to talk bills with him. I would have to this, and it's just, the offer is hollow, and it's just a way to try to lure me in. And like I've already said, I would rather die. I have no desire to die, and I would rather die than be subject to his whims and his control ever again. I cannot do it. And so I desperately need help from the world. I need to know how to survive. I don't, again, how to get a passport to get to a country where I can afford healthcare, or to get to a country where I can afford to live. So, just to clarify from before, like, I promise you my life was not all European vacations and galas. I was terrorized at both homes. I was many times rendered homeless by my parents. And that doesn't even include the times where one would kick me out to the other's house, and then I'd have like a day where that one would be decent, and then they would go psychotic again and have an absolute meltdown over nothing. And I would have to keep back and forth to the point where I constantly had my go bag packed. And that is not how someone from a loving family lives. It's not how anyone should live, but that's certainly not how someone from a loving family lives. They don't have a go bag constantly packed and spare clothes in their car and this and like, and I was terrorized at both homes and spent a lot of time growing up visiting jails and prisons and halfway houses because of this severe abuse and neglect my brother was forced to endure. And to be very clear, I do not blame him for any of this. And again, I will tell more of his story someday soon, but for now, I just need to know, I need the world to know what my parents have done recently. And then I'll tell you what they've done the rest of my life to lead up to here. But I bring up who I grew up with and the trips my dad took me on to highlight the dichotomy of the double life I was forced to lead. And forced to be, the smart, going places, judge's daughter, and all of the secrets that were actually happening at home. And all of my peers are extremely well off, and even the ones that aren't are extremely successful. And there are also a category of some of us who come from these type A really successful families, and type A narcissist successful parents abuse their kids because they want them to be their trophy and their mantelpiece so that they can make more connections and a lot of it. So I know that I'm not the only one from these fancy schools that has a story like mine. A friend of mine actually died from it, and going to his funeral was really hard because we all had to stand there as his dad talked shit about him and like lied about him and talked down on him. And we all had to like leave and like decompress and be like, so that was extremely fucked up. And I talked with friends about it, and I'm like, that's exactly how my parents would be. Like, my mom was disparaging about my brother at his funeral, and if anything, it kills me. They're gonna say horrific lies about me. And I instructed my friend, I was like, if I die, tell no one to go to the services that they hold. Don't. I'm not there. That's not where I am. Go to a restaurant, talk about me. That's where I'll be. So I know I'm not the only kid in the justice system who's been abused. And I know I'm not the only private school kid who's been leading this forced double life. But I might be one of the few still alive. So I have to speak up for all of us. There are a lot lot of people up there that need me to be their voice, and my own as well, because I deserve a fucking decent life. I'm not asking for the world. I'm not asking to be, you know, super, super rich like my classmates and traveling all the time. I just want fucking healthcare and to be able to survive. And I don't know how to get that. And it's fucked up that I come from such a like privileged background, but like it's all this dark, seedy underbelly to it. And again, I know I'm not the only one. There have been so many kids who like turned to drugs and needed a lot of fucking therapy because of what their families did to them. Like all of the pressure that we're under, and so oh shit. I just shit, sorry. Oh my god, all of my coping mechanisms. Okay. I'm tired of being forced to carry so much shame because my life looks nothing like theirs. I'm tired of the world thinking that it was my fault that I didn't live up to my potential. I'm tired of people thinking that I squandered the opportunities that I had and the privilege, when the reality was that they were destroyed before I could even conceive of them. My parents were 30 steps ahead of me, and I don't deserve to carry the weight of all of this shame. I don't deserve to hang my head and run away whenever I see people that I know, because I'm tired of having to dance around what's happened to me, and why my life isn't the way it was supposed to be, and all just to keep my fuck-ass family's reputation. Oh, Sarah, you can't say anything about what your dad has done. I've had direct conversations with my mother about the abuse. Both of them have this delusion that one is abusing me and that they're innocent. And so I would have conversations with them, and they'd each be like, well, I know your mom is like this. Oh, well, I know your dad is like this, but both of our jobs rely on him having a job, so you can't say anything, and don't do anything to fuck up the campaign, and this and that. And like, they outright know that the other is abusing. They won't admit that they are, because they're narcissists and they think that they're the greatest thing that's ever fucking existed. And this weight and shame and mortifying embarrassment was never mine to carry. The world and our families have been incredibly unkind to my brother and I, and the other kids from my schools and the other kids in the justice system. And I know my brother and I are not the only ones. So to all the people who always wanted me to be silent and forced my silence, I'm telling it all. No holds barred. I am unburdening myself. Finally. I never deserved to hold all this weight. Your sins are not mine to carry, and if you didn't want me to talk about it, you never should have done any of it. I have faced death. I've already looked it in the eye many times. I know what it looks like, and I've seen it on my brother. But I don't deserve to die because of what these people have done to me, and I don't deserve to suffer either. And yet I have immensely. I have been sweet and innocent and good to a fault my entire life, and a better child and relative than any of them deserved. But my little siblings are sweet angels too, and they don't deserve to lose their big sister either. I don't want them to ever face the pain that I've endured. And I already said I'm a lot closer to them than I was with my brother, and I still carry all this agony on top of everything else I've been through since he died 13 years ago. Like Atlas carrying the fucking earth. This has been weighing on me my whole life, and I'm just praying to the universe that someone will heed my call and help me, because it is very hard to ask for, given all of this. So even though I have so many other people I'm doing it for, hard and scary, even though I've wanted to do it my entire life, it's the enormity of it when it finally is in front of your face is a lot. So this is my final stand. This is all I have left. This is all that there is in me. This is all that I can do. This is my Hail fucking Mary. This is my leap of faith, praying that someone in the universe will catch me and help and tell me what they know so that I can survive this. I hope you will hear my call and help save me, and hopefully help save other people down the line too. This is a fucking lot. Oh my god. I can't believe I finally got through it. Sorry. I'm pretty sure yep. That's all I have in the short version. Like I said, there's a lot more context that I need to give for a lot of these things. There's so much more I want to get off my soul, but for now I really hope that anyone will find this and help me. It's a lot to ask for, and it's mortifying to be in such a vulnerable, scary position, but I have been in this raw, painful, vulnerable state for so long, and I can't claw my way out. I've been forced to do things alone my entire life. My parents were very do-it-yourself, pull yourself up by your bootstraps parents. They you know, I've been forced to be strong, and oldest sister, all of the burdens, all of the pressure. My whole life I've been trying to do it all on my own, and it's silly because no one can do it all on their own, right? But I've been told my whole life that I was supposed to, and I wasn't allowed to ask for help because I wasn't allowed to tell anyone what was going on. And no one can survive alone, and no one can survive in this modern world, especially with all these crazy demands, all alone. So, even though it's incredibly hard for me, this is my leap of faith. This is my last stand. This is me begging for help. I don't know how to untangle their web. I don't know how to survive all of this. I need help. I hope that you will hear me, and I hope that anyone that can help finds this. It's really all I've got left in me. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but I don't know how to end this. There's so much more that I want to say. It's already been 2.5 hours, which is crazy. Really thought this was gonna be like a 30-minute video tops. So I'm so sorry, but hopefully people have watched it double speed. But yeah, please just, if you can help, please leave a comment and tell me what you know, because I've been trying to carve out all the paths on my own, but there's like a million of them, and I like get an inch one way and then there's 50 other things that I need to address. I can't do it all. I'm out of my depth. I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm really fucking sick. So, sorry, oh my god, I'm snotting. Yeah, I will be forever grateful if anyone can help me, even just a little bit, because I cannot do this all. And I don't know what the backlash for this will be. I don't know how my parents are going to retaliate, if I'm going to be trapped in some trial for years, or what the fuck is going to happen. But I had to get this out of me, and it's not even the tip of the iceberg. I still have so much to say about my brother and so much context to give for the abuse, but this is just what's happening right now, and I don't know what the backlash will be for this, but I need to do it anyways because I really might die soon, and I can't turn 30 keeping this to myself. You know, I've tried to get it out so many times, so much kept happening, and it kept being so dangerous, and the only way I can make it undangerous is to tell the whole fucking world. So, if the world will listen, then that's what it is. There you go. I did my best. I did the best that I can right now, and I'm gonna post follow-up videos with more of what I cut out for time. Stupid 2.5 hours. But yeah. This stings. So for now I've gotten out what I needed to, and I don't know how this is gonna turn out, if people are gonna find my corpse in the desert somewhere, or my parents are gonna, show up at my door with a bunch of cops. I don't know. All I want is healthcare and to fucking leave the country and finally start living my life. I deserve to finally start living after 30 fucking years of this half-life, this pathetic version of existence. Like, I deserve to have control and freedom and happiness and safety, and I don't know how to get it. I really don't. So, like I said, if anyone can please help with that, it would literally save my life. So, thank you for listening this far, especially if you have. Oh my god, I can't fathom even a single person watching this and giving enough of a shit. But if you manage to be that person, I can't thank you enough for paying attention and for helping me, and just watching this is helping me feed the algorithm so that I find someone. But yeah, thank you so much if you're here and if you've listened to me, and there's more that I need to get off my soul. This is really all I can do for now. And talking and crying for 2.5 hours, and this is the first time I've fully gotten through what I wrote. So thank you for having the patience if you did, and this is all for now. There will be more videos with more context and more stories, and I just this is what I had to get out first. This is what I most desperately need help with. So this is my priority, and I'm sorry it took so long, but it took so long to speak out, but to for 2.5 hours, I mean. So yeah, this is really all I can do at the moment. So thank you times a million. Because you just might be the person who saves my life, and I really hope that whoever you are that person, because I don't have anyone who can ask for help like that, and no one who really gets it. It's a bit complicated being the daughter of a judge and a high-level court employee who's also been abused for 3 decades. Like, it's all of these different intersections of trauma. Don't know that there's a lot of people exactly like me, but if anyone who's been abused for as long as I have knows anything, then please help me. Please help me. I really want to live. I really want to find finally live. So thank you again, and there will be more. And I'm not religious, but pray for me that the retaliation isn't the worst, I guess. So let's hope this actually recorded and it doesn't somehow delete, because it's a 2.5-hour long video. Holy shit. So yeah, I don't know what else, but thank you a lot. Oh god, I'm crying. Yeah, thank you for listening. If you did, I don't know. There's a lot more to get off of me, so I almost feel like it's not finished yet. But this is just the most pressing stuff that I need help with. I need a way to escape. I need a way to figure out all of this stuff, and I don't know how to do it on my own. And I don't know what's gonna happen if by some fucking unbelievable miracle people do help me, and now unmedicated without my ADHD medication, like, if I get help with all of it at once and I have to try and organize all of it at once, like, it's gonna overwhelm me to death trying to figure it out all on my own. But I don't know how this is gonna turn out or what's gonna happen, but I need the help, and I need to speak my truth and tell my fucking real true story of my life finally. So thank you for hearing me and listening to me, and if you can help me, thank you most especially for that. It means the world. So thank you. And for now, this is all I've got. So